Welcome everyone to another video, another tutorial. So in this video, we will discuss what is sniffing. We'll discuss what is sniffing, what are the prereq or what are the resources required in order to do sniffing in a local area network, right? So without wasting much of your time, what is sniffing? So sniffing is when we collect or capture the information from the packet when it crosses the network. So for example, you got a local area network, and whenever a packet travel over the network, we capture the packet and look for the information inside the packet. That is called sniffing. Sniffing can be of two types. It can be passive, it can be active. Passive sniffing means where we are just monitoring the traffic without getting noticed. Well, active sniffing is where we are modifying or altering the traffic, and so it's something like man in the middle attack, right? Where traffic goes through attacker, right? That is called active sniffing, which leads toward many attack like session hijacking attack, cross-site scripting, and there are bunch of more cross-site request forgery, etc., etc. Some more attacks. So how do we do sniffing? In order to understand sniffing, we have to have a basic understanding of OSI model. I have already uploaded a video of OSI model in detail where you can understand what is OSI model, why it was proposed. If we didn't have the OSI model, what would be the problems? All right, I've already uploaded the video. If you have not watched that video, I would recommend please watch that video. I have posted the link here in my description, so please do watch the OSI model. So in the OSI model, at the lowest layer, which is layer number 1, we got physical layer. On this layer, we have couple of devices. One of the devices called network interface card, right? This can be Ethernet based in the case of wired local area network, or it can be Wi-Fi based wireless local area network, right? Like an antenna. Right. Physical layer also has like wires, optical fibers, cables, and some networking devices like hubs and repeaters. Very important thing is the limitation. These devices, like especially I'm talking about wires and hubs, right, and the repeaters, they cannot access the MAC address. In order to access the MAC address, devices need to be on the data link layer, like for example switches or bridges. Network layer, devices can also access the IP address. Beside MAC addresses, they can also access the IP addresses, for example router, for example layer 3 switches, etc., etc. So in order to do sniffing, first of all, we need to assume that in a local area network, we have implemented hubs, not the switches. So let's take this example. So assume that this is the local area network where we have implemented a hub. We have a hub, and what is hub? Hub is a broadcasting device. Broadcasting device mean whenever it receive a packet on any of the port, it will broadcast to all the port. Let's say hub receive a packet on port number 1. It doesn't know the MAC addresses of the devices connected with us different ports, so it will broadcast the packet to all the nodes, all the ports, right? That is basically what the job of the hub is. Now, what happens? How to receive the packets? Computers, they use network interface cards. In order to connect the computer with the hub or any network device, we use network interface cards, NIC. So these network interface cards, what they do? They transmit, they receive the packet or transmit the packet. So every computer has a network interface card. Network interface card, and as I mentioned earlier, it can be Wi-Fi, like a wireless network interface card, or it can be wired in the case of Ethernet. In this example, I took the Ethernet based, like wired one, right? Not the wireless network interface card. So computers can transmit or receive the packets transmitted over the hub, over the network by using network interface card. Every network interface card has a physical address which is called MAC address. This is static address. Static means it cannot be changed. So static cannot be changed. And as you know, computers has another address which is called IP address, which is dynamic address. Dynamic means it will change. If you, for example, connect your computer at your home, you will have a different IP address. If you are at work, you will have a different IP address. So it will change based on your location, but this is fixed. It will not change unless you change your network interface card. So that's coming back to where we were. Let me undo a couple of things here so we can let me just wipe this. All right. So what sort of things we need in order to sniff the packets? So for example, by default, how network interface card looks like. By default, network interface card NIC will only capture packets directed to its MAC address, directed to its MAC address. Like if there is any other packet which is meant for any other MAC address, it will not capture it. So for example, let's say if A wants to send a packet to B, A wants to send a packet to B. Now we are using hub. Now what's going to happen? If you want to use A wants to send a packet to B, so what's going to happen? A will send the packet to the port and hub will broadcast the packet to all the ports. Why? Because hub does not know the MAC addresses, right? Hub doesn't know the MAC addresses. So what's going to happen? This packet will go to 3. This packet will go to port 4. This packet will also go to port 2 as well. So port 3, on the port 3, we have MAC address C, but the packet was meant for B. So it will drop the packet. D will also drop the packet, but C will take the packet, right? Now, this is the normal scenario. And in order to view the packet, see the packet, we need to use or install a software inside the computer like Wireshark. There are many other software like Wireshark, which offer a graphical user interface. Or you can also use TCP dump, which is Linux based a packet protocol analyzer, which will show you packet in terminal. But let's talk about Wireshark. So you can visualize the packets on Wireshark. But the problem is network interface card will drop the packet. Even though you have a Wireshark, you will not see those packets because your network interface card is keep dropping the packets. How you can see the packets? If you want to see the packets, you need to change the setting of your network interface card. You need to change the configuration to promiscuous mode. So what is promiscuous mode? Promiscuous mode will allow network interface card to grab every packet. Every packet comes its way, regardless of the MAC address. So even though the MAC address it is meant for B, but it's going to show you here now on your Wireshark. So what you need to do, first of all, you need to have hub. Hub is a broadcasting device, right? So if anybody drop a packet on any port, hub will forward it to all the nodes. Second, on your network interface card, you need to change your setting to promiscuous mode. So two things that you need to require. First, you need to have hubs in the network, a broadcasting device. Second, your network interface card setting should set to promiscuous mode. Promiscuous mode, right? So you can see every packet on your Wireshark. Now, hub, as you know, it's a broadcasting device. So that is why we can see every packet comes its way. Once attackers typically they receive the packet, they start looking for the packet sent with weak protocols. Weak protocols mean so they can find out as much as information possible. For example, they look for packets sent with HTTP protocol, SMTP protocol, FTP protocol, telnet protocol, right? Where security is not being incorporated, like HTTP, so they can see the session tokens, session IDs, they can see the credential like parameters. SMTP, they can see the email parameters, they can see upload or download information. Telnet is insecure login. So weak protocols are the prime target for the attacker when attacker is doing sniffing. Now the limitation of sniffing is, for example, if you have incorporated switches, instead of hubs, then even though your network interface card is configured to promiscuous mode, you will not be able to access the packets. Why? Because switches knows the MAC addresses. So like switch knows with which particular switch knows that the port number 1, 2, 3, 4, and they know that A is connected with port 1, B is connected with port 2, C is connected with port 3, and D is connected with port 4. So whenever A wants to send a packet to B, switch knows that B is connected to port 2, the packet will only go to port 2, not to everyone. So in that case, how do we do sniffing? We will discuss that in our next video. So for this video, I think we are good. We talked about what is sniffing and how sniffing can be performed, right? So please keep watching. We'll talk about the switch-based network.